The next odds enhancer when it comes to trading supply and demand zones is the confluence of previous levels of support and resistance. Now, a lot of traders really don't know or don't understand the definition or the difference between supply and demand and support and resistance. And really, support and resistance zones are past supply and demand zones that have been projected into the future, right? So every support level and every resistance level, if you look at where it came from, it is a level of supply or demand, right? Traders, another difference is that traders believe that the more times a level of support and resistance is touched, the stronger it becomes. And again, just going over this this point, 2 points is I can understand why traders would believe that, because if you have a level, let's say for example, you have some resistance and support, right? So the idea stands that it's touched once, twice, 3 times, price just can't break through, right? Every time prices have tried to break through, it hasn't broken through, and vice versa for a level of support, right? Which I understand why. But from a market state point of view and price discovery point of view, if the more times a level is touched, the stronger it becomes, then the market would be in a range forever and a day, because it would be getting stronger and stronger each time it is touched. So prices need to range to discover new price areas, both we know fundamentally and from a sentiment perspective. So it cannot be true. It cannot be true that the stronger or the more times a level is touched, the stronger it becomes. And also from a value perspective, let's say for example we have a level that's been touched several times, right? Around here. Now, if we know this to be a bargain area, right, the first time it's touched, this is where smart money are looking to buy. Second time, again, potentially, this is where smart money are looking to buy. Now, when prices are traded a third time around here, a lot of other traders, retail traders, and are looking to really eyeball this level, and possibly on the second time as well, but definitely on the third time, traders are looking to say, all right, then, well, this level is hold. But from a value perspective, you've got a bargain here, you've got a potential bargain here, but now prices down here, third time, are really kind of just normal for traders. It's not as valuable as it was when you were getting in really early. Now this becomes common, this becomes regular, usual, and so the more times this level or this price level is really touched, it's not special anymore. And really what you'd probably see is something like this before prices end up going higher. And this is again where, if you understand, fundamentally you want to be a buyer of this currency pair, you're not worried about price, you're looking at anything as value, right? If you understand the value of what you're buying, this is just a cheaper area to look to buy. But going back to the point of the first touch of an area, brilliant value. Second, good value. Third, again, it becomes obvious to everyone else to buy, and this is why other traders, and really the traders that bought the first and potentially second time, are really not buying the third and the fourth and the fifth time. So going into a price chart, we get a level of supply here, right? We got hard in, hard out movement, and then we get a reaction, first reaction to this level, which is where we're looking to buy. Now, again, the more times it's touched is the more times it becomes weaker, as we know, right? Now, other traders would consider this a level of resistance, right? So the more times it's touched, level of resistance, and you can see really the concept, like I was saying, that every support and resistance level starts off as a level of supply and demand, right? Again, if you go back through your charts, you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. So this level of supply turns into a level of resistance, right? So we've got a level of resistance here, and then we know that this is probably the absolute, high of a potential range. If we're looking at the high to the potential low, again, we get a reaction here, we get reactions here, right? So support and resistance traders would now look to try to get in, because now this becomes obvious, doesn't it? It becomes obvious that, resistance, 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 resistance. And like I said, resistance traders are looking to trade that level. And as soon as they try to trade that level, and we know that obviously the more times it's touched is the less appealing it becomes. You get basically a spike through, level comes back, and we get a move higher. Now, this level of potential resistance and used up supply to support and resistance traders becomes now support, right? So this is a zone where they're looking for support if prices ever do come back to this level, right? So let's have a look, and prices do come down to this level, and this is where traders who trade support and resistance would be looking to buy at potential support. So this level of supply has been projected into the future as support, right? And demand. Now, from a supply and demand perspective, and also an order flow and order, looking at the traders who are looking to actually get in, let's analyze what is happening here. So first of all, we've got a level of demand around here, right? Because we have this high, low, high, right? So that becomes a level of demand. Sorry, and a level of demand. I don't know if I said supply before, but so this is a level of demand, right? So we've got demand here and demand around here, right? Now, from the perspective of traders and the amount of orders that are coming into this area, if you were a trader that sold up here, right? So obviously, in order to sell, if you're selling, in order to take profit, you need to buy, right? And that's going to be buy orders, right? Where would be the first area if you're looking at taking profit? It would be, and the first problematic area. So this is going to be forced. Pretty much traders are forced to exit because this is the area where they see the most problems occurring. So this is going to be forced demand around here, right? So we've got, forced demand, right, from traders who have, pressed sell on their broker and are now trying to take profit around here. We've got support and resistance traders now. We've got some willing demand coming in, right? So we've got resistance, resistance, resistance now turn into potential support. So we've got some willing demand coming in from buyers looking at the level to hold, and they're looking at maybe this, some sort of engulfing candle, etc. So we've got forced demand coming into this level, we've got willing demand, and we've also got ourselves that know potential bargains, right? Levels where there's going to be a potential bargain, right, coming in at that level as well. So net, who is selling here, right? Who potentially is selling, right? That's what you have to try and take into account as well. The sell orders, really, if prices do come down and go further down, it would probably be simply because of the fundamentals and the sentiment analysis, right? But if your fundamentals are in line with the current sentiment, then net you will have loads and loads of demand coming here, as far as forced and willing demand at this level, and it just adds to the confluence of this demand level, where you have a level of support, or what traders would see as support and resistance. We need all the help we can get when it comes to this level reacting, right? So this level of support and resistance, we've got willing demand, we've got forced demand from traders, forced to take profit, and then we've got ourselves who are looking to enter at this level of value. So let's look at this example on the Euro Yen daily pair, and again we have a level of resistance once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. You get a reaction here, and then we get a move up, and then we get pretty much a breakout. Now we know that obviously this level of demand in conjunction with a potential level of resistance, or what traders would call resistance, because this has been touched several times in the past, is really one of is the confluence that we need at this area. So this is where we'd be looking to buy. And again, when prices come back down into this zone, we look at the forced and willing demand equation. If you bought anywhere or sold anywhere up here, first problematic area is going to be around here. So there's going to be a lot of forced and willing demand coming in here. We know with the confluence of resistance, support and resistance traders are going to be entering down here as well. Supply and demand traders like ourselves are looking to enter around here, and we get our move higher.